Agriculture Minister Zulfikar Mustafa has committed to supporting the efforts of farmers of Anns Grove and surrounding communities on the east coast of Demerara, following an outreach to that community this past week. His outreach and interactions with farmers of the Anns Grove community followed on the heels of a cabinet outreach that sought to listen to and address the concerns of residents there. It was at that cabinet intervention that farmers requested government's help in the area of agricultural development and were assured that Minister Mustafa and team from his ministry would return to the community to discuss with them the way forward. During that follow-up meeting held Tuesday, farmers from Anns Grove, Clonbrook, Beehive, and other surrounding villages used the opportunity to raise issues related to drainage, access to breeding animals, markets for their produce, and other inputs to advance farming in their communities. In his remarks to residents, Agriculture Minister Zulfikar Mustafa said government is working with urgency in ensuring that no community anywhere in Guyana is left behind in the drive to realize the full wealth-generating potential of agriculture here. He noted that the farmers of Guyana's east coast also have a major role to play in realizing this goal.
Now we have been working with a number of groups across this country to get them to involve in more agricultural activities. And I am glad that you all have this passion for agriculture, and we will work with you to develop your areas, to have better infrastructure so that you can produce more. Over the last 2.5 years, just under 3 years, we have seen budgetary allocation to the agriculture sector move from $13 billion to today $32 billion. Why we have invested it? Why we have doubled it, more than doubled it? Because we see the need to improve the infrastructure in our country. We see the need to ensure that we prepare the agricultural area in a way that farmers can have it easier to produce so that we can build the facilities. So we have seen also, I want to make this point, that in 2015, our last year in government, 2014, the last budget that we would have passed when we went out of government in 2015, the budgetary allocation in the agriculture sector was $18 billion. And when I became Minister of Agriculture in 2020, it has reduced to $13 billion. And now today, less than 3 years, we have seen it has increased to $32 billion. That shows where our priorities lies. And we want to be a country to produce all its food. We want to be a country in the Caribbean to be the hub of food production. You will know for a fact when many of you would have seen on the news that the entire region, the CARICOM region, today they are putting a lot of interest in the agricultural sector. The CARICOM region by itself, the entire heads of government, all 15 heads of government, all 15 countries would have met and agreed that we have to reduce the food import bill of CARICOM. The food import bill of CARICOM is between 5 to 8 billion US dollars annually. Things that we are importing, we can produce. And the entire CARICOM now, the entire Caribbean, they are saying that for too long we have neglected the agricultural sector. The only country in the Caribbean that normally do large-scale agriculture are countries like Guyana, Jamaica, to a lesser extent Suriname, and things like that. But we are seeing countries like Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago, the Eastern Caribbean countries, their economies were built on tourism, on island gas, and today they want to develop their agricultural sector. And that has been, from day one, our views that we have to develop the agricultural sector.
Minister Mustafa assured the residents of Vansgrove and surrounding communities that as part of measures to empower those within the communities, government has been entrusting the upkeep of drainage and irrigation infrastructure to groups within the communities to execute contracts in this regard. However, in responding to concerns raised by residents about shoddy maintenance of the canals, Minister Mustafa said he is aware of the problem and is moving swiftly to have the issue addressed.
We have been giving out millions of dollars in contracts. Why? I have asked NDIA, I've instructed NDIA should give the contracts to the farmers in the community so that they can be the beneficiary rather than bringing a person from outside to do the contract. The money will remain in the community, firstly. The work that will be done by the farmers, they are the beneficiary. They will do it to the standard. But I came Saturday when we had that meeting at the play field, and we heard that people are spraying the trenches. There is a clause in the contract that no spraying should be done in the canals. Right? And I agree with the Comrade Stark. I know about the system. This is nothing new to me. The side slope has to side slope has to weed 3 feet from the edge of the parapet, from the edge of the water to the 3 feet up. So people can't tell me about this system as minister that I am an alien to the system. I know the system. I know what is to plant rice. I know how the field got to prepare. I know how the canal got to be done, what the contract has to be, what the contract stipulates. All those things I know about. So a farmer or a person who doing the work can't come and tell me he's a minister doing it right. I know what is it. I can go and look at the canal and tell you if the work done good. I can even go in the canal to see what is under the water there. Because when it's sprayed, it gone down. And when it gone down, it starts to build up and the canal gets shallow. It can accumulate the water when the rain fall. You get overflow, and that is why you get flood in the community. So we'll deal with it. I made a commitment last Saturday that we will deal with the issue. We will deal. I have since asked NDIA, and Lionel will tell you that I have already given instruction. He has already started to do some work in that area to ensure that we put the system in place. And if the farmers are saying, I am not making a decision now, but I'm just saying it. If the farmers are saying that we must give who the contract and the contract was done properly, then if we are paying the millions of dollars that we pay, we have to get work done, and the work must be done to standard so that we can have accountability.
The Agriculture Minister also took the opportunity to distribute a quantity of agriculture inputs to the farmers of the various East Coast Demerara villages in attendance at the meeting. He assured them that more support is on the way for the communities almost immediately. He said engineers from the National Drainage and Irrigation Authority, NDIA, will be visiting the community with a view to mapping out the D&I needs of the communities, following which a decision will be made on prioritizing the interventions needed. On the issue of markets for produce grown on farms within the communities, Minister Mustafa says his officers from the New Guyana Marketing Corporation will work with the farmers to ensure this is no longer a problem.
We have somebody from my office here, Mr. Ashraf. He will speak to the person who need market. Right now, I have had talk with the Minister of Agriculture in a number of Caribbean countries, especially Barbados. We are looking now, they want all the fresh produce from Guyana to go across there. So there are ready markets in the Caribbean for farmers' produce. We are working now and meeting with them to stop or to remove, so to speak, remove all the non-tariff barriers that used to cause our produce not to go into the market. When the Oil and Gas Conference was held a couple weeks ago at the Marriott, we had Prime Minister Rowley, who came to Guyana. And he is very eager to have Guyana's produce go to Trinidad and Tobago. Trinidad and Tobago was the hardest country for us to export our produce. They had all kinds of laws there, all kinds of barriers to our produce. Now we are working to remove those barriers. Prime Minister of Barbados, Miss Motley, She wants Guyana produce to go into Barbados. And we have been working very close with her. Like Antigua and Barbuda, when Prime Minister came here, Bronx, he also, I spoke to him and he wanted those things. So we have to work with the farmers. There are enough markets out there for our farmers' produce to go there. And we will work with you to find market with both of your comrades who raised the issue.
Over the coming weeks and months, the East Coast communities will see an increased presence of Ministry of Agriculture Extension staff working with farmers in assisting them in moving their agriculture pursuits in the right direction.